Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Oh, look, the camera works now. What's with that? And let's pull up the links. Let's do the links. Not that page, not that page. When do I want to get rid of this one? Yes. There's that one. And this. All right. So just looking at the 30-minute, it looks like we're higher from yesterday, which I think is appropriate. And the E-mini probably fading a little bit. Yes, sir. So I'm a little concerned about what I'm seeing right here with the market potentially failing this key support level here. So I can see why people are maybe buying here. We do need to be careful because it's Friday and there's always fishy things on Friday. And we have import prices month over month, which I think is going to be a key number. I don't know if it's going to move things, but I think it is an important number for us to pay attention to. So, yeah. What else do we got going on here? Currencies are still doing their thing. Okay, well, we're gonna have an interesting day today, I think. Lots of fun politics to talk about. Looks like the protest against Donald Trump in the UK was a dismal failure. That's kind of gonna be fun today. What else we got going on? What's the CNBC say? JP Morgan shares rise as bank posts record second quarter profit. Well, that's good. If we could get my Goldman Sachs to go up. Let's see here. That put us. Well, they're still relatively near the low of their range that they've been in since August, but possibly turning around. That would be nice, I think. But I don't see. Good bank earnings trade subsides. This is going to be interesting. See what the E-mini does today. I think is going to be important. And where's the Bitcoins? 62. So they took another little dive down, but it was just a teeny tiny one. Just a teeny tiny one. And our Bitcoin chart is still left up. What's with that? Well, they made an attempt at 6, but they didn't get it. They might do it later today. I would watch out. Looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet day today. Trending all morning in euro bonds, back to areas not seen for over a year. Moving up, huh? That's interesting. Well, I'd say we're in an area right now in the 10-year that I don't want to mess with. We're at a key area in the 30-year. Basically, they had to move down and now they've come back to balance. So we could see a move up from here. Might want to take that if we see it start to develop. But I'd be more interested in seeing it if like we came up to 09.5, 10 and then saw some absorption and saw that kind of a signal. I don't like the action in Bitcoin today. Okay, well, we got some people on Twitch. Well, I have a little bit of food, so we'll do that before the news comes out.
percent percent price in percent price in prior what price in prior has also purchased previous.
Okay, so if you missed that, a month over month we got negative 0.4 versus an expected 0.1. That is less inflation than expected, which means that bonds are likely to move up. But not a ton of people taking trades based off of it. Not yet, at least. Yep. They all were just like me when they took that first one. They're like, oh, apparently nobody cares. But then when the second guy took it, and now everybody's jumping in. I would say normally the jumping in here would probably be a bad thing because we're jumping in on an iceberg. But the way that everybody's hitting that and are still hitting it, I think there's a good chance it's going to go through. Yep. And people hit there, and there was a little bit of a hit back, but they stacked. So I think this has a chance of continuing. I like to see these back ticks. We need to see it go bid again. Move my stop up to where this 09 is. Okay. Well, we're definitely see them coming in on the 10-year, but I'm not seeing so much action in the 30. See 115 and then 130. Or 11.5 and then 13. They continue to flood in here. Wait, the iceberg. Okay. So it went bid again and people are hitting 10.5 again. Okay. Yep, that's good. That's a good uptick. 2,000 that time. I think that some of these guys at 10.5 might pull. Especially if 19 in the 5-year can hold a bid. Yep, pulled 10.5. Okay, that's interesting. So now there's starting to be a 10K there, so they bust through that. Nobody's hit 11 yet. Okay, now they've hit 11. Bid is starting to push. ZF's not holding a super strong bid yet. Okay. Okay, so there was a downtick and now the volume has just completely died. Okay, there's a 30-year uptick. Decent bid. See if something comes into these two. Well, I do think that they're going to tick up here. I shouldn't say that, I should say I think they could tick up here. This could still be long. We'll see. Problem is that at 10 I saw, potential stop. And it showed that they were going to continue. And then at 10.5 I saw it again. And they went through it, but then it's giving me the sorts of things that I've seen in the past where it doesn't continue. So now it's dead. It could tick up again, and then maybe they get excited and we do continue up to like 15, but I don't know. And I'm not seeing like a huge stack of orders behind us that we've seen in trends this past week. And I'm not, there is these 12, half 12 up above us. So I'm a little wary. And to see, ZB kind of starting to look like maybe it wants to really go up, but and these orders in here, 960 versus 960. So it's almost equal. It's not a ton. Okay, well, now a couple of people are buying into it. Let's see. I think we may be at the mercy of whoever the next 3,000 lot is. I think it's still worth the look. I mean, we have the edge here. We're now risking a whole lot, and if this goes, I mean, we really could see 15. Okay, so they just stacked. They just flipped here. Let's scratch it. Not only did they flip, but the 5-year went down. Okay. So we got out of that one break even. Good deal. So now I'm watching this 09.5 because there's a 5K there, right? If that stays and holds, then we could continue. We could build some volume up in here and we could continue up. There was a lot traded at 10. But if they're not able to hold that 09.5, that's when we could start to see some real selling come through. And this whole thing just kind of fall apart. So I think scratching it's the right thing here to do because I don't really know what if it's gonna go up or down. And it seems like high risk at the moment. Like it was good for a look, but we only got a tick out of it and it came back. That's not. I don't want to be in that. Well, we have a lot of people watching this morning. And good morning, Uzi. It started out really slow, but now we've got a good 9 or 10 people. Nobody on Twitch today, though. They moved to YouTube. Okay, so there they took the 09.5, so that's really bad. That's really bad. I think, in fact, I want to go short here now. So just looking at the profile here, it looks like that all of these prices have been prices in the past that you could get fills at. I don't know if they're going to hit back into 09.5. I think they were going to go back to 07.5. So if we wanted 4 ticks, I think that we need to take this right here. It's going to put it there even though the chances of me getting filled seem fishy. Okay. Well, so I wasn't so sure if I would even get filled there. I did get filled, and when they filled me, there's a good 3K behind it. Now some of that is pulled since. Also noticing that there's a big order at 200. Okay, that right there, they should be able to just push right through. $5K in the 5-year, that's pretty big. Okay, if they're able to trade down through this, I think you could see this bid drop in the 5-year and we could get another tick down, but at the moment they're trying to hold it in the 5-year, and there appears to be some sort of an iceberg at an 0.095.
President.
Yeah, 3,000. Hmm. 60%, huh? I would rate it much higher than that. I think you pretty much have to assume that it's going to happen. Okay, so they tried to clear it and they couldn't. Not seeing flow come in back the other way, but notice that this iceberg is the only thing that's keeping them up right now, because the 5 and the 30 have both already ticked down. Now they're not about to tick down again, of course. If this was getting weak, then it would really be like, man, they should sell this, but it's not. In fact, this bid is puffing itself up and making itself look menacing to the offer at 100. Yeah, so there they ticked up. Not a strong bid though. Yeah, that wasn't good. I think my stop is not the best because there's a chance that they tick up to 11 again, but then they don't push through it. You know? So, like, yeah. A bit at 100. Let's pull a little bit again. Hmm. I see some absorption for sure. Well, when it ticked up there, it was kind of thought that might be the case. I think I might have FOMO'd into a trade there, but it wasn't necessarily like an awful trade per se.
It's like
Hmm. Well, sure looks like it could break a new high. There's your level break setup right there at 10.5. Well, they tick down and are able to hold an offer here. So let's see if they tick back up. This would level break here wouldn't be a very good signal because it's not like we're trending upwards or anything. It's quite messy here. Yeah, I'm reading this comment from Uzi about how sometimes the bids or offers will pull at a price and then wait for the market to get to that price to attack it. I think he's kind of saying that's kind of what happened to me. Yeah, because it was like I was saying, well, they should be able to hold this 09 half. And of course they didn't. And so I read that as a signal to go short. And then I got filled, but then that should have been a signal that my trade was no good. No, on this one, they traded the high now twice. It kind of looks like it's coiling up for a push higher, but I really can't. I just feel really uncertain at the moment for some reason. But that's the next like setup that I'm thinking about is that um, we got a high and then a higher low, and now we matched the high. The next logical thing would be to tick down to 09.5, absorb there, now be able to get through that, and then push higher for a higher high. Yeah, well, one of them things you don't need to be hard on yourself over. Yeah. Well, that's not that. I feel like what I took for as a trade, that it failing 09.5, I took that as a signal when it wasn't, and really shouldn't have been a signal for me. I should have said, the absorption at 10.5 is a signal. And maybe, if I'm lucky, I can go short 10. But then after that, 09.5, 09, it could turn around there. You don't know. And so I wish I had just sat on my hands. See. He wants it to be open, free, and open trade. Fair enough. Yeah, it's a total surprise if it happens. You see, here they are absorbing again at the 10. And I want to take it. Like, come on, that's a ton. They did not offer up a lot there. Wait. Did it just literally just trade 38 again? Okay.
announcement of
Okay. Okay, now see that tick up in the 30-year? They stacked up quite a bit there when they ticked up 600. And now I want to see the 5-year is not coming along. Often try to wait and see if it happens and join the momentum as fast as my fingers can click. Well, this whole area right here I think is really interesting because we came up, we had a continuation for a tick. It got slow, it came back down. And now we're here at this 09.5. We came down, we pushed all the way back up, and now we're back down at the 09.5 and it gets slow again. And there's some iceberging at 09.5, but they broke through the iceberg and now it's gone back and forth many times. But it is bid. The problem at the moment is that the 5-year needs to buy 18 3/4. If they buy 18 3/4, then I think that we could see a new high, or at least we could see a tick up in the 10-year. But I took this trade based on there just being a lot of absorption there at 09.5 and that it slowed down. So if this works out, I would be calling this like the dead man. You know, push up, it gets really slow, it coils up, and it's gonna push higher. But it's just not quite doing anything yet. Okay, so here it's gone back and forth a few times now. Yeah, let's line it up like that. So did you see these two ticked down and the 30-year held because there was an iceberg at 20. And that doesn't appear to me to be an iceberg at 18.5. That's a pretty small bid for them to not be hitting it though. And you can see this offer here at 21 seems to be right. It pushes up and then these two tick down. And then I bet you if this ticks back up over 400, they'll tick back up. Okay. So now there's 2,000 that have been bought at 20. Still a very weak offer in the 5 and 10. Still iceberging in the 30. Okay. A little bit of a stack there for a moment. Let me see. Is he saying 21, 22, and 23 are where I'm being careful? It's near the high, so it's a perfect place to pull offers, bring the bid up, and then sell into it. Well, then they're absorbing a lot at 20, so that would make sense if you're going to buy there and then pull those offers. But you've got to get the 5 and 10 to play long. It would only take like 800 buy for it to tick up, and they're not doing it yet. Why not? Guess buyers just want more than 1,000. A couple of orders went through that time. E-mini might be falling here a little bit. Yeah, the E-mini ticked down and the 10-year ticked up. 5 did not tick up. Okay, the bid at 30 is now over 400. 5 has not ticked up yet. I'd wait for those prices to be cleared before I try and flip a contract on the buy side. So you're saying that you wouldn't be buying until it's like touching 23, 24? Okay, well, ZB lost 20 that time. The offers are still weak. Well, you gotta remember, I'm only going for one tick, but I'm nervous selling when it comes to big orders like the ones on offer in ZB. If I sell, I run the risk of aggressive buyers plowing them. Right. If I buy, then I run the risk of those passive orders becoming aggressive and taking the price down. Right. So I just kind of wait. Well, I think the risk that I should be watching out for is the risk that you buy something and then it just does nothing. That seems to be the one that gets me. You sit in it forever and doesn't do anything. And then when it does do something, it's too fast for you to react. Right? And if you're right, you're right. You're wrong, you're wrong. Happens a lot in ZN, yeah. Okay, so they pulled at 09. That seems fishy to me. But they're pulling because the bond went down, and I think when they ticked past that 20, this trade became very harder than it is in CB. Oh, I bet. Well, they did fall by a tick. Would you? So the question is, would you go short here? And I'd have to say I don't think you could, because we've only fallen out of this by a tick. It wasn't super aggressive. And you got a potential VWAP bounce here. See? Ticks up. I personally wouldn't, if not for anything other than the delta still being positive and the market being above the day's open. If the day is up, the only place I'd look to short, even if I would be the high. Interesting theory. I mean, on the days that I've been doing well, that kind of has been what I've been doing, right? Because I was selling the extremes. I thought that 09.5 was the extreme. Really? I guess though you have to say, you buy something like that, they can always go at 2 ticks. Right? I'm not sure if I would say that the delta is positive though. I mean, there was some selling there in the 5-year, right? And now that we've just gotten below the liquidity that was at 18 quarter, the new order shows up at 17 quarter. And you're seeing a bit of delta going back and forth here. See, there was a big sell and then a big buy. Okay. Well, I mean, delta for the session overall is higher for sure. But like delta over the last 30 minutes. Over the last 30 minutes, it's mostly flat in the 10, but it's, excuse me, it is short in the 30 and the 5. And it's almost go back to 0 in the 30. Looks more and more bearish, says Alligator. Yep. I thought there for a second that the bid at 09 was going to pump up and that we could maybe actually get an uptick into 09.5. And and they sold the 09 again. See, there's the ZF at 17. Tech bid holding up a little better that time. So like pullback to VWAP and R1, so like done there in my opinion. Yes, in control soon. Yep. I agree. I'd rather not be in a trade at the cash open though. Not like this, at least. Okay, so, well, here they go. First move is selling. They hold it. ZF ticks back down. And buyers come back, but they're getting stuck at 27.98.75. Oh, and they bust through it. Oof, okay. So at the moment in the E-mini, it looks like the buyers are being much more aggressive, and the delta is overall positive, but they are not. They have not made much headway at all. Okay, so they're able to hold a key level there. Now 2,800. Not quite able to do the 28. I haven't seen any bubbles on the upside yet, so they could go higher. I had a chance to get out at 09 and I should have taken it. Okay, 2802, there's a big order. There's a lot of absorption short of it too. Really struggling. And 10-year. Completely fell apart there. I'm wondering where did I only took one sell today, did I? And it was at 095 at one point. Funny, because when I took the short the first time at the 0.9 see, this is just like the example of where you get screwed up, right? The first time I took it, I sold, and I thought, oh, it's going to go to 0.75, right? Remember when I said that? And now this time, it got there, and I said, oh, well, I think that it's going to hold this time, so I bought it. And it went to the 0.75. So the Ninja Trader 8's order flow delta, so I made my own cumulative delta. And it's using tick replay. So there are some edge scenarios where the tick replay isn't completely accurate. But I'd say, especially in the 10-year, generally speaking, it's going to be right. I mean, you would need to have some order flow significantly against the bid offer in order for that to happen. So this is generally correct. Now, the one in Jigsaw here, you know, that one, that's 100% accurate, and you can see here, you know, they match pretty good, but they don't always match exactly. I don't know. That trade was pretty bad. I'm just thinking back over the week, and I feel like, you know, the whole week I've been saying, well, I mean, we are positive. Today would be the first losing day if we end here today. And but I keep saying, like, I feel like I'm just getting lucky, and you're not getting any extension out of the winners. You know, if I had gone short up at 10.5 where I tried to get out of my first long, and just held that, you know, there is a possibility we go back to 0.5. You can even maybe hold it. That would require a lower low, but that might be acceptable. Well, we'd have to see what they're gonna do at 0.70. Anyways, a lot of it right now just feels random to me. So I think what we've done this week is we've gotten better at staying out of bad areas per se, but we haven't improved our you know, we need to get more out of our trades. We're not actually getting the good trades. You can see it's some absorption here at 0.7. That one shouldn't have been 4 ticks, it should have been 1 tick. $7,000 into 0.75. The E-mini does look like it could turn around. I don't know. Hmm. The 5-year did turn there. The one that I'm most interested in. Buy that one. Okay. I should show this so that you can see the E-mini go in there. Okay, let's see if what they do here at 27.97. I think here on the short side they have a much greater chance of pushing through it because there wasn't as much absorption going into it. There you go. And there's a bigger order past that, so I think that they're going to bust through that spot. And it looks like that's what the Treasuries are betting on as well, because they're starting to eat away at that 0.5. Oh yeah, look at that. Now we're finally getting the sell that I was thinking we might get. Okay. So they went through the liquidity and are pulling back. I would rather them be distributing it closer to like 27.97. So you see it here in the E-mini. Today we opened up a little bit above yesterday's high. There's a gap lower. Fill the gap. Turn around. And this is exhaustion on the upside, essentially.
Expected. Five. 5 to 10.
Well, I like the way now that the liquidity looks underneath of us as we've moved up in the 10-year. We have some resistance above us at 09 and 09.5 for sure. Gotta be careful about, but I think that there's enough delta offsides here. And there's going to be all the people that went short that are going to be taking it off. But I think we could get a new high, frankly, if they actually move up there. And it's a little questionable that it would go that far, though. You would really need the E-mini to break down, and at the moment the E-mini is just gone back to its balance area at 27.98. Another good uptick. Very, very good uptick that time. I need to move this so we can see the 30 now. Okay. So first of all, I'd want to see the 30 above 20, right? Okay, the sellers came back with a pretty good hit and the buyers held it. Are they going to launch back at 095? Are they going to wait for 095 to pull a little bit? The level 2 and the 10-year looks a little suspicious to me. I don't know what that means. Why is this not drawing me liquidity here at these two prices? It needs to be over 55. Basically, the buy side liquidity is not building up underneath of us. Now, if we get some absorption, so like 24.34 going into that, that's good. Well, okay, there's an uptick, that's good. And only 1898 traded instead of 4,000, so that's good. ZB is we're still not quite to the key level though. You gotta be careful because the 30 could give us a head and shoulders here. Okay, so sellers are hitting back here. Interesting, even though the E-mini is like on its lows and failing the level that I was saying was critical. don't think it's going to be 98.1. I think it's going to be lower. The consumer sentiment. E-mini eyeing that low again. No, buyers won there. See the 1536 traded at 27.93.75. Okay, iceberging at 0.95. I guess there's been iceberging at 0.95 both ways. And this has been a price that we've gotten screwed up many times at 0.95, so that's obviously going to be the safe place to get out. But like the setup is still there for us to go lower. I mean, that many people settled at 0.95 and it busts through. It's probably going to take out the high. And if it takes out the high, it's probably going to go to 12.5. So I think it's worth the look to hold it here. That's my logic at the moment. There's also consumer sentiment, so I think that consumer sentiment could be negative. Ah, thought so. So it was about a point lower than expectation. Yeah, come on, another tick up. Let's bury these guys. I want to see that 5K at 0.95 get buried. Or I guess when we're moving up, we call it flooded. Yeah, they're gonna get flooded. All these buy orders are gonna stack on top of them, and they're gonna be stuck. Come on. I don't know, when I turn into a cheerleader, that's usually not a good sign. Okay. I have here holding the bid for a bit. And we're at the 20 in the 30. Ooh, they hit that aggressively. Very aggressively. And they tick up and they put a strong bid. So we're holding this. We're holding this. Okay. So sellers hit back at 20 and the buyers held it and are absorbing again. Okay. but they're all three of them are fighting there at that price. And the E-mini is not sure if it's going to turn around and go lower or what it's going to do. Here's a down tick and an up tick. Yeah, it's just, I would like to see the E-mini go. I'd like to see one of those sweeps. Take them below 27.95. Okay. Reset this. Sometimes I don't like resetting it because I like seeing it so high above the the line, but we got to be able to watch if these move, which one moves more. Okay. Bid holding a little better. Okay, so they stacked a little bit there at 100 now. And they're attacking at 20 again. Not able to get through it yet. They sure are selling it. Okay, some volume here in the E-mini now. That could be a short signal. Yeah, this pulled a little bit. They're above 20 again. Okay, so I'm seeing the 30-year buying here not able to hold bid several times now. Now 228 stacked on there. E-mini's still below where those icebergs were. Well, not necessarily icebergs, but bubbles. They're really yeah, they're really fighting over that 20 in ZB, aren't they? Well, they're starting to fight over here in the E-mini too. For this 2797 area. Because there was some icebergs on the high here, and now there's some icebergs on the low here. Let's see if they're able to hold the bid at 20 this time. Fighting the urge to drop an offer at 20. You think it's gonna hold, huh? The thing going through my head is like, how can we get back up to this area and not be trying to make a new high? Oh, okay, they took out 095. And they got a pretty good offer there at 20 now. But the mini is not done. Not resolved yet. Let's see what they do. Could have taken the 10. I sat there and said, like, there's an iceberg there, and this is a balanced price, and this is where it should get out, but didn't do it. And if the E-mini falls apart here, now like they took a little step higher, so I think that might be done. Looks to me like that the buyers were able to defend the key level in the E-mini. Like it went through it, but then they were able to get back above it and hold it, and that's why this is all coming off. Okay, that was a weird stack. Interesting. So what was it that made them want to do that? That 095 pulled. They traded up. They have an okay bid, but not amazing. offer hasn't pulled at all. Not a whole lot has gone into the offer. So it may just tick back down. The 5-year looking like maybe they want to push higher. The 30-year though, well, so the interesting thing in the 30-year is that 20 was maybe a right shoulder. If it's a right shoulder, you should get accelerating volume on the right side. And then when it's at 145.12, then you have a confirmed head and shoulders and it can possibly continue, right? Well, was what we just got there in the 30-year accelerating sell volume? I mean, maybe it was, could have done it, but if they take back up above that 20 again, it's gonna look awfully nice if they get back above that 20. And there, the E-mini hit the VWAP and bounced for a few ticks at least. Yeah, I'm concerned about puking above 20. That's what's stopping me from offering. Okay, so now they are above 20 again, and they took it pretty aggressively with a strong bid. And I'm seeing some pulling at 21. I think this is going to go for a new high. I was gonna say, so something I was starting to say, and then the action kind of stopped me from saying it. But when I was like, should have sold 10, there was an iceberg there, and I knew better, right? Then I was gonna say, yeah, but I'm holding it here, and if I'm holding it and it goes and it breaks to high, I'm gonna look like a genius. But the truth is, I should have sold it the first time, shouldn't I? Should have held it the first time. And then I could have possibly have bought the 9 and 9.5 when I saw it, starting to push back up. So missed opportunity there, but I was still wrong to hold it past the 10. Now that we're through the 10 and there was only 1401 traded there, I mean, I really don't see anything stopping this from going for new. Like, I really think these guys are just going to pull. It's going to take a little bit. The E-mini is going to need to help them. The E-mini has not puked yet. They're getting awful close though. Though that 27.98 or so, right here, this line, they get below that line, they can get in. But I don't necessarily want to see an aggressive push because that has a high probability of sliding back. But if we can just kind of slowly get a tick, 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 and then and that's another thing that I think I should note for later, is that if you have a level, like a key level, and they go through it slowly, that's better than if they go through it all at once, all crazy. Okay, so now there was pretty big hit there at 100, but they held it at the 37.33 traded there. So now they're really starting to build up some pressure. And don't get me wrong, they could push through this 10 and it could be over, but if they break this high, there's going to be some buying. Hey, good morning, Anthony. How's the cryptocurrency market looking to you? Because it coming down to where is it now? Oh, it's still about the same place. That last sell last night was not as strong as I wanted it to be, but it sure still looked good to, like, they could easily get below that 6,000 again. They might pull back a little bit, but I don't think it's going to hold for very long. And that's not going to help the E-mini, is it? Okay, so it is falling through in the E-mini, and slowly, the way we wanted. Look at this. Yeah, that's a terrible drawing. Oh, here they're going to do it now. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised that there's that many people selling it at the 10.5. So that's making me a little cautious. That was a lot of buying that just came into the 5-year though. And in a spot where the E-mini is going up. I think I need to take it off here, guys. Yeah, I got all excited and everything, but like that did not do what it should. Doesn't smell right. This bid being weak at 100 doesn't smell right either, though. No reason for it to be that weak. ZF ticked back up. Not a strong bid, nobody hitting into the 211. Okay. Well, they tried to make it go offer again and they failed. So I don't know. I'm still cautious. This right here in ZF done is not right. This holding here for so long. Granted, there's an iceberg there, but holding here for so long and them not hitting into 11 is not quite right either. I don't know. I think they're gonna break the high. Don't get me wrong. I still feel like they're gonna break the high, but I'm seeing a couple of things that don't seem to jive correctly with me too. You know, one thing is I see there's this big target in ZF that is gonna offer some resistance. But I do see some stops coming out up here. I'm wondering why I'm not seeing the stops right now, right? And that's where I'm saying, like, there's a couple of things that don't seem to make sense. Like, I should be seeing stops right here. This move up in ZF doesn't necessarily make sense. The E-mini did not break down. And it's a Friday. Like, we're going to get a strong uptrend. Like, that change in value on a Friday seems not normal. Well, they pulled at 11. I'm gonna put that there just in case, because I'm concerned that what's gonna happen is we're gonna go bid and a bunch of people are gonna puke. Okay, so 1,000 puked. They're at 15, right? Now we're at the 20 in the 5-year, right? We're not quite to the big orders in the 30-year. The 30-year hasn't broken its high yet. Okay. So I'm concerned that what we're going to get is a bunch of orders flushing out through here, and then sellers are going to absorb here and try and flip it. Because it just seems, so for instance, we've seen 1335 here. There's going to be 3,000 at 11.5. We trade through it, assuming that there's not some huge pull. But since there's already been 15 through there, I think that's what's going to happen. But there's this big order in the 5-year, right? And that's not moving out of the way. So they're going to have that. There's going to be a collision there. I think that what's going to happen is there's going to be a collision. There's going to be a huge rush up, and there's going to be a lot of absorption here in this 120 to 130 area. I want to mess with the 125 because there's a 6K there, and that might be where they try and like stop it short and try and catch buyers. So that's why I'm cautious. I'm going to move my stop up too, just in case they try and pull a fast one on us, or they just don't get it and they decide to turn around here. So one of the things here in ZF, like when you tick up to something and it's a big order, you might see a couple of people nibble at it, but it's not uncommon to tick down and then tick back up and then see people are more interested in it. Whoop, I went out. That's it right there. You know what that means? Do you know what that means, guys? I'm profitable today. That let's I really don't think that was great trading. Let's see if I would have gotten the 2. But I saw that 8 there. I was saying, you know, I think that sellers are going to be trying to get short here. And that's what I'm seeing right there. And there's still this big order in ZF that might, I mean, he's not going to pull out of the way. That guy's going to stay, I think. So let's see if they're able to trade 5. I need to see 5K here to say that I got out of the wrong spot. Yeah. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see if I. So when I clicked out there at 11.5, it was like almost a reflex. It was like I was worried about sellers absorbing stuff, and I saw absorption there on the sell side. I clicked out, and I'm still thinking when I'm talking with Alligator in the Discord, who is trying to get a fill at 12. And that's where I had my order, and I'm like, if they sell into 200, sorry, if they buy into 200 in the 5-year, you're probably going to get some fills here at 12 in ZN. And so maybe I did the wrong thing. But I was looking for a sell to get out, and when I saw the iceberg, it was a reflex. I just, okay, get out. Oh, upload failed. What? Click here to retry. Try it again. Like seriously, one tick profit after those two awful trades. I don't know if that one was that price obviously was not a good price, right? When it first showed up there, I didn't think that it was going to become the volume node that it did, but that was obviously a really bad price. But to have caught it way back at basically what was the VWAP at the time and get the bounce and everything is like, I mean, that's my trade. That's the one where it's like a lot of people don't like trading around the VWAP, and I can see it stirs the order flow. They're gonna bounce it there. And I'm just like, I feel so great about that trade, and the fact that it outweighed my two bad decisions today. I feel great. And then if I come back here and I go through and show us the whole week, refresh that. There you go, 6 ticks. See, I almost lost it all though. Like that's bad. So I don't know. That I kind of feel like to some extent maybe I was, well, we gotta be careful. I need to watch that again and see what I was saying. And I would be interested to see what you guys think, because I'm wondering if I was revenge trading there and I just got lucky. But I mean, it's a winning week. That's like great progress. And it was slow, and I've just been taking 2 ticks here and 4, you know, losing 1 here and then taking 2 and then losing 2, and there was a 4. That one should be 1 though. So really I could be 125 for the week. And then how many trades did it take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 minus 33, so we're still profitable even after commissions. I mean, this is just great. It's just great, guys. It's like such a small win, but and obviously there's still lots of problems, but it feels good. It feels good. Oh, okay, Maltz is listening. That's cool. Yeah, thank you. Right, yeah. Well, you got to keep in mind, I don't know how long you've been watching this stream. I've been recording these for a year. But I had a really good period from about December to mid-March. And then the market started to become rangy, and I think there's a couple of other things. I think maybe I was paying a little bit too much attention to what some other people were doing and was not reading the way that the absorption happens correctly. Because I mean, just because you see an iceberg at some place doesn't mean that it's going to stop there, and it doesn't mean that it's going to continue there, right? And it matters more once they get through the iceberg, and then what do they do? How many people hit the next price? How much gets bid there? How does the bid react when they start hitting back into it? That sort of a thing, right? This one at 115, 8K, they traded up into it. There was some stops, that was good, but the bid never really got strong, and of course there was an iceberg there on the bid, but they traded back down through it, and then now you've got all these guys that were looking for a continuation and aren't getting it. Anyway, so that was one of the things I was getting wrong. And so I went on just a real bender, like a real bender, dude. Like I hadn't had a winning week. I don't think I put together a complete winning week since April. Now a lot of that was like I went into like doing experiments and stuff and seeing certain things and that obviously don't work, but I did learn from them, and I don't know. So to have a whole week of winning feels good, but you be careful because there was a lot of luck in there, and we really, you know, that trade that was like first, that one was 7 ticks, right? You know, I would like to see more 6 tick trades, 4 to 6 tick trades, because that's the only one out of the whole week that got there, and that one trade could outweighs almost everything else that happened this week, right? So be careful to read too much into it. Yeah. And I've definitely, my drawdowns, when I did this before, like during that December period, I did have drawdowns, and it was between $500 and $1,000. And even when I draw down and I stopped trading the account, the drawdown wasn't too bad. But I think it was a necessary thing. Anyways. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure I got that in, but that was the emails bothering me. What was I going to say? Oh, I think that the drawdown and having to stop trading my account was a necessary thing, because my strategy before was based almost entirely off of continuation trades. And I think that it's correct that in the long run, if you take the continuation trades and you pick them correctly, you're going to make money, and you're going to make a decent amount of money. And it seems to me that there actually is more money on the continuation trades than on the mean revision, right? The mean revision is more reliable, but the continuation has more profit potential. But at the same time, you're going to have huge drawdowns if you're only taking continuations. And so I think you really can't just live on those alone. And so to have to go through this and force me to trade what has been really slow week and still make the correct calls, that's what I think makes it feel like a lot of progress. Because if I had done well and it was just continuation trades all week and everything, then it would be a different story. Then that would just be, oh yeah, this is the area where I'm good. Just lucky that it happened to be a good week, But the way that it did it this time, it's like, oh, that's perfect. Anyways, I'm talking too much. I need to post my charts here. I need to post the charts for Patreon. Oh yeah, we should check here while we're doing it. Oh, Anthony is doing pretty good. Oh, very good. So, I don't recall. I mean, I think you went long at 6 somewhere, didn't you? So this is where it's kind of a strange situation in Bitcoin, because you are kind of in a spot where I feel like you could pull a few $100s out of Bitcoin, right? Just trading it between 6 and, because obviously I still think it has a lower to go, but I'm not convinced that it's just gonna fall apart right away, So it's going to be a very slow and painful push down. Just like what I was saying, that like, if you have a big order and it goes through it slowly, that's better than if it goes through it really quick. Because if it goes through it really quick, that's going to come back. You get a stop run going through it, that's going to come back a little bit. And then you have to see, when it comes back, are we above where the last distribution area was? And if we're above where the last distribution area is, then you still have then you have the chance to continue on. And hopefully you don't sit through that, but sometimes we do. Anyways, so it's the same thing here in Bitcoin. We pushed through really quickly that one day, and so of course it came back. And now we've probed 6 again and actually held it a little bit, but like it's been slow. So if it keeps going down and just like slowly a few $100s every day, and it gets below 5,500, and then you really will start to see the pain. It's like It's like lobsters in boiling water, right? They don't realize that they're getting boiled alive until it's way too late. Anyways, that's my thoughts on it right now, at least. E22. Alright, well, with all that said, we are still above the last distribution. So this could still continue. Okie dokie. My big question is if Bitcoin and Ethereum will be confirmed by August 10th or the end of... Oh, so what are you talking about? Flipped my 2 bags, and before that I already took my profits twice. Oh, I gotcha. So you've been playing the swings correctly and you've still been making money as opposed to just being completely out, so that's good. Good job. Well, we've been seeing like fishy stuff every Friday, so I would stay on your toes this afternoon because that seems like a critical trading time for Bitcoin for some reason. Anyways, yeah, I think as long as we're above 100, there's still a possibility that this just continues a little bit higher. I think that this guy in CF really wants to get filled, and I think that he's probably going to keep us from moving too far down, and as long as he doesn't get filled, unless like he really decides he's not going to get filled and panics or something. But I think this guy wants to get filled, so that might dominate. It's a Friday. I think the Friday was kind of why when we broke the high it didn't really go much further than that, so looks like it did get out at the right spot. So yeah, I will see you guys next week.